Hello, and welcome to Podcast by MrB. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm your host, MrB, and joining me as always is my fantastic co-host, Anna. Anna, great to have you here.
Thanks, Mr. B. It's wonderful to be here. I'm really looking forward to today's episode because we're covering something that so many learners ask us about.
Absolutely. And to all our listeners out there, whether you're joining us for the first time or you've been with us from the beginning, we truly appreciate you being here. Before we get started, if you find value in what we're sharing today, we'd love for you to hit that like button, leave us a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to stay updated with all our new episodes. Your support really makes a difference.
It really does. We read every comment and we love connecting with you. All right, so let's dive into today's topic. We're going to explore the wonderful world of phrasal verbs.
Phrasal verbs. These little guys can be so tricky, right, Anna?
Oh my goodness, yes. When I was learning English, phrasal verbs drove me crazy. I mean, why can't we just say switch on the light instead of turn on the light? It's confusing.
I totally get that. But here's the thing. Once you understand them, phrasal verbs actually make your English sound so much more natural and fluent.
That's so true. Native speakers use phrasal verbs all the time in everyday conversation, like constantly. So if you want to sound more natural, you really need to learn them.
Exactly. And the good news is, they're not as scary as they seem. Today, we're going to break down some of the most common ones that you'll use every single day.
Yes, we're going to make this fun and easy to understand. So, Mr. B, what's a phrasal verb exactly? Can you explain it in simple terms?
Sure. A phrasal verb is basically a verb plus a small word, usually a preposition, like up, down, on, off, or in. Together, they create a new meaning that's different from the original verb.
Right. So like get means to receive something, but get up means to stand or to rise from bed. The meaning changes completely.
Perfect example. And that's what makes them tricky, but also interesting. All right, let's start with two phrasal verbs that everyone uses every single morning. Anna, what are they?
Wake up and get up. These are super important because they're probably the first phrasal verbs you'll use each day.
So true. Okay, let's break them down. Wake up means to stop sleeping. Your alarm rings, your eyes open, and boom, you wake up.
Right. So you might say, I wake up at 7 o'clock every morning, or the loud noise woke me up. It's about that transition from sleeping to being awake.
Exactly. Now, get up is a little different. It means to actually stand up or get out of bed. So you can wake up, but still lie in bed for a while, right?
Oh, yes, I do that all the time. My alarm goes off, I wake up, but then I stay in bed scrolling through my phone for another 10 minutes before I actually get up.
Same here. So the sequence is, first you wake up, then you get up. You might say, I woke up at 7, but I didn't get up until 7:30.
Perfect example. And here's a fun one. You can also use get up to mean getting out of a chair, like let me get up so you can sit down.
Good point. It's not just about beds. Okay, so those are our first two phrasal verbs. Everyone got that? Wake up, stop sleeping, get up, stand up, or leave the bed.
Great. Now, let's move on to another pair that you'll use constantly. Turn on and turn off.
Ooh, these are super useful. Anna, what does turn on mean?
Turn on means to start something or make something work, like when you turn on the lights, the TV, your computer, or even the water.
Exactly. You're activating something. Can you turn on the TV? Or I need to turn on my laptop. It's all about starting or switching something on.
Right. And the opposite is turn off, which means to stop something or make it stop working.
Yes. Turn off the lights when you leave the room. Or don't forget to turn off your phone during the movie.
These are so common in daily life. I mean, think about how many times a day you turn things on and off.
So many times. Your alarm, the lights, the coffee maker, your phone, the car, everything.
Exactly. And here's something interesting. We also use these in other ways. Like that music really turns me on, means it excites you or gets you interested.
Oh yes, good point. Though that one can have different meanings depending on the context, so be careful with it.
Yes, definitely. But in the basic sense, turn on equals start or activate, and turn off equals stop or deactivate.
Perfect summary. Okay, let's move to our next pair, put on and take off. Anna, these are all about clothes and accessories, right?
Mostly, yes. Put on means to wear something or to place clothes on your body, like I need to put on my jacket because it's cold.
Right. Or put on your shoes before we leave. Or she put on some makeup before the party.
Exactly. And take off is the opposite. It means to remove something from your body. Take off your coat and stay a while, or I can't wait to take off these uncomfortable shoes.
I feel that. After a long day, taking off your shoes is the best feeling.
It really is. And here's something cool. We also use take off for airplanes. When a plane takes off, it leaves the ground and starts flying.
Ooh, great point. Our flight takes off at 6 p.m. That's a completely different use of the same phrasal verb.
Right. English is fun like that. The same phrasal verb can have multiple meanings depending on the context.
Absolutely. So remember, put on your clothes, take off your clothes. Put on your glasses, take off your glasses. It's pretty straightforward with clothing and accessories.
Yes, and you can also use put on in other ways, like put on some music or put on a movie.
True. It's very versatile. All right, let's move to another important pair. Look for and find out.
Ooh, I like these ones. Look for means to search for something or try to find something.
Right. Like, I'm looking for my keys. Have you seen them? Or we're looking for a good restaurant in this area.
Exactly. You're actively searching. And the interesting thing is, you might be looking for something but not actually find it yet.
Good point. Looking for is the action of searching, whether you succeed or not. I looked for my phone everywhere but couldn't find it.
Right. Now find out is a bit different. It means to discover information or learn about something.
Yes, like I need to find out what time the store closes. Or did you find out who won the game?
Exactly. It's about getting information or discovering the truth about something. I just found out that she's moving to another city.
Perfect example. So look for is about searching for objects, while find out is about discovering information or truth.
That's a great way to remember it. Although you can also look for information, right? Like I'm looking for information about that topic.
True. English loves to keep us on our toes, but generally look for equals search and find out equals discover or learn.
Got it. Okay, let's talk about our last pair. Go on and come back.
These are really common in everyday conversation. Anna, what does go on mean?
Well, go on has several meanings, which makes it interesting. The most common one is to continue doing something, like please go on, I'm listening, or the meeting went on for 3 hours.
Right. It's about continuing or proceeding. You can also use it to encourage someone to do something. Go on, try it. Or go on, tell me what happened.
Yes, it's like saying continue or keep going. And we also use it to mean happening, like what's going on, which means what's happening.
Oh, that's such a common phrase. Hey, what's going on? Is basically like saying what's up or how are things?
Exactly. It's super casual and friendly. Now, come back is more straightforward. It means to return to a place.
Right. I'm going to the store. I'll come back in 20 minutes. Or when are you coming back from vacation?
Perfect examples. It's all about returning to where you started or where someone is waiting for you.
Yes. And you can also use it in different contexts, like that old song really came back into fashion, or the feeling came back to my foot after it fell asleep.
Oh, good examples. So come back means to return, whether it's a person, a thing, or even a feeling.
Exactly. All right, Anna, we've covered a lot of phrasal verbs today. Should we do a quick review?
Yes, let's do it. So we learned wake up to stop sleeping, get up to stand or leave the bed.
Turn on to start or activate something. Turn off to stop or deactivate something.
Put on to wear or place clothes on your body. Take off to remove clothes or when a plane leaves the ground.
Look for to search for something. Find out to discover information or learn about something.
And finally, go on to continue or proceed. Come back to return to a place.
Perfect. Now, here's the thing, everyone. The best way to learn phrasal verbs is to use them in context. You can't just memorize them from a list.
So true. You need to hear them, see them, and use them in real situations. That's how they stick in your brain.
Exactly. So let me give you a little story using all of these phrasal verbs, and you'll see how natural they sound in context. Ready, Anna?
Ready. Go for it.
Okay, so here's my morning routine. I wake up at 7 o'clock when my alarm goes off. I don't get up immediately, though. I stay in bed for a few minutes checking my phone. Then I finally get up and turn on the lights in my bedroom.
Ooh, good start.
Thanks. So I go to the bathroom and turn on the shower. After my shower, I put on some clothes and look for my watch because I can never remember where I left it. I find out that it's on the kitchen table. Then I turn on the coffee maker and have breakfast.
This is perfect. Keep going.
So after breakfast, I turn off all the lights, put on my shoes and jacket, and leave the house.
I tell my family, I'll come back around 6 o'clock tonight. And throughout the day, I just go on with my work until it's time to come back home.
Wow, you used every single phrasal verb we talked about. That was so natural.
See how it flows? When you use them in context like this, they don't feel strange or difficult at all.
Exactly. This is how native speakers use them every day. Now, listeners, try creating your own story using these phrasal verbs.
Yes, please do. Practice makes perfect. And here's a pro tip. Try to learn phrasal verbs in pairs like we did today. It helps you remember them better.
Great advice. When you learn opposites together, like turn on and turn off or put on and take off, they stick in your memory much easier.
Absolutely. And don't try to learn too many at once. Start with these common ones we covered today. Use them until they feel natural, and then move on to more.
Right. Quality over quantity. It's better to really know 10 phrasal verbs well than to kind of know 100.
Exactly. And remember, if you hear a phrasal verb you don't know, write it down. Keep a little notebook or use your phone to collect new phrasal verbs as you encounter them.
That's what I did when I was learning. I had a whole section in my notebook just for phrasal verbs with example sentences.
That's such a smart way to learn. Context is everything. All right, everyone, we've covered so much today. Anna, any final thoughts?
Just that phrasal verbs might seem complicated at first, but they're actually your friend. They make your English sound more natural and help you understand native speakers better.
So true. And don't be intimidated by them. Start using them in your daily life, even if it feels awkward at first. The more you use them, the more natural they'll become.
Exactly. Practice with friends. Use them in your thoughts. Even talk to yourself using phrasal verbs if you need to.
Talking to yourself is actually a great practice technique. No judgment, just practice.
Right. Okay, everyone, that's all for today. We hope you found this episode helpful and that you feel more confident about using phrasal verbs now.
And remember, these are just a few of the many phrasal verbs in English. We'll do more episodes covering different ones, so stay tuned.
Yes, and if you enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up, leave a comment telling us which phrasal verbs you want to learn next, and subscribe to our channel.
We really appreciate your support, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our new episodes.
Thanks so much for listening, everyone. Keep practicing, stay positive, and remember, learning English is a journey, not a race.
Well said, Anna. All right, everyone. Until next time, keep learning and keep growing.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Take care.